Hey, everybody. We're back.
We're still here.
I don't see any of you showing up yet.
That's
Wow,
okay.
9 seconds in and no one's there. Uh-oh.
Ghost audience and
Hey, we'll
95 degrees out.
We'll record it and go later. Okay, so we're back. Shout out to LA Cycle, BMF Twins, Performance Power Sports, Triumph Indy, whoever else is cool.
Kerry Krasino.
Like. Kerry Krasino.
Rides.
Roger Swartout's the first one to say hi. Or hey.
Rides
hi.
with Dave Pickens. Good guy. Take your car there if it needs help.
Who else? Yeah, I said LA Cycle, Nick Avert up there and that crew.
Mark Miko at Earl's.
Oh, yeah, Earl's. Earl's been around forever.
Jason Burgess at Shadow Graphics.
Hey, Bill. How we doing today? Okay. Well, you can see it in the title. We're going to talk about weird motorcycle laws. But before that, Kim's going to tell us about what's happening. Actually, there is a lot happening this weekend aside your automobilia or Artomobilia
yeah.
up in Carmel. I'll shout that out right now. So you've got the Ironman or the motocross.
GNCC.
It's not the GNCC. It's the
not?
actual. It's the actual outdoor motocross. The pros. They're having an open ride, an open practice on Friday for A, B, all amateurs, minis, veterans. So 40, 50 plus.
I should take my BMW out there.
Keith wanted to do it, and I'm like, it's going to be way too hot. That's on Friday.
It's going to be so brutal.
And I heard, someone can tell me if this is correct. Hey, John Hill,
hey, John.
Randy Schwartz. And Randy, your bike is on the lift. It's still apart, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we found your parts.
we have your parts. I heard that the Motorcycles on Meridian is this weekend.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
Okay, so I didn't know anything about the Super Motocross. I didn't know anything about the Motorcycles on Meridian, if that's the case. So
yeah, if somebody can verify.
Someone wants to look that up and verify that.
But the Artomobilia you're talking about.
Kim.
This has been a long time coming. If you've ever been to this show or gone out and Googled it, it's a very high-end expression of motorcycle, or not motorcycle, but car art. And that's why it's called Artomobilia. It's managed by a guy that's supremely qualified.
Sorry.
His name's John Leonard. Really well-versed in how to get a car show to look like an important car show like Pebble Beach or any one of the higher-end ones. So it is on the 28th Meridian, John says. So that's Motorcycles on Meridian.
Good grief. Okay,
now,
so that's Saturday night.
Yeah, that's going to be Saturday night.
So you could do both.
You could do both.
It's going to be a hot day.
The deal at Artomobilia for the public begins at 11 and ends at 6. It takes all of downtown Carmel. So if you've been there before, you kind of know where you're going. There are going to be ample places to park. You can find them. You just can't drive your car anywhere near where the show is. So you can find places to park in the businesses up along Range Line or some of the other areas around Carmel, depending upon which side you're going to go in. But it's supposed to be bloody hot again, and it's supposed to be a chance of rain. But I've been there before when it monsooned in the morning and it was fine in the afternoon. So that won't change much about the way it's done.
Bring an umbrella and water.
Right, and there's it's a lovely place to walk anyway because Carmel's done a good job with their downtown, and it's fairly easy to access. But the thing that you're going to see is several hundred, if not thousands, of Lotuses, Porsches, English cars, German cars. You'll see things that you wouldn't see in any other show locally. Mm-hmm. And they've done a good job of maintaining a good constituency of people that bring things back. And you find out that there are people in the Midwest that have really exotic collections. And it's a good thing to go see. The thing that's different this year is there are going to be motorcycles in it. And I don't think I was really the total catalyst, but I sat down with John and said, with all the great quality stuff you have in this show, you should have another part of the show be motorcycles specifically. They've had a few bikes sprinkled in there, but it's been sporadic. And in the inside of the Arts Center a couple of years ago, they had the Ducati shop in Zionsville actually bring some new bikes to show. And a couple of years ago, they also had Tom Wood bring MVs.
You think Ray Hall's going to bring up some Ducatis?
I don't know. I haven't talked to John about that. And if they do, great. But I know the motorcycles are going to be in one place. So that's new for this year. We're going to have for my crew, we're going to have about a dozen bikes. There's going to be everything from a step through 50 to an Egley Vincent. So you'll be able to see some things that you might be interested in. Because I had to keep it to a minimum number of bikes, the main cadre of bikes I'm bringing is the evolution of Hondas through the step through to the CB4 to the CL77, CB77, CB400F, CB550, CB750, CBX, and
all
then
the way up the line,
all the way up. Yeah. So if you've been a person who liked the 60s or even 50s through 70s Hondas that were kind of special at the time, that's a good example of them. And they're all pretty good. The only one that's as found is the step through 50. And I think that's poetic. It's a survivor.
Okay. And that starts at 10 and goes to 6.
It starts at 11 and goes to 6.
And goes to 6.
We'll be loading in much earlier than that, but there's no charge to get in. You can walk the streets as much as you like and leave when you like.
Right.
But it's very definitely a high-end show. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. If you get there, come by and see us. We'll be at the booth.
If you have any questions, send us a PM or whatever. Tim Cadwell. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Tim's an old workmate of mine from FedEx.
Cool.
Roger said that the AMA Pro Outdoor Motocross is Saturday at the Ironman, which is
so it's at the GNCC area. It is
at the GNCC area, but it'll be on the motocross track.
Yeah.
And then John and Roger both say the Motorcycles on Meridian is Saturday.
So there's a question from Bill about where specifically
things
in Carmel downtown will the bikes
there you
be.
Go.
They're going to be just off of Main Street in Carmel, a little bit to the west border of where vehicles are. When you get there, they'll give you a little map that'll tell you where everything is. Mm-hmm. So there's a Porsche specific area. There's an English specific area. There's a Lotus specific area. There's an exotics specific area, Corvette specific area. So you'll be able to find it. It's not difficult to walk downtown Carmel and see where they are.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, I'll have my cell phone with me if you want to call me, Bill, and I know you have my number. So, or anyone else that wants to call me.
Cool deal. Okay. Let's delve into this. Now, Kim knows nothing about he may.
I know one.
Yeah, and and I probably even told it to you wrong, but we're going to talk about some weird motorcycle laws, and if you know a weird motorcycle law in any of the 50 states of the United States, tell us what you know. Send us a message,
or even if it's not in the U.S.
If it's not in the U.S., I don't think India really has any laws when it comes to motorcycles.
I'm sure they're
do all over the place.
But yeah, they're probably elusive to figure out.
So I am going away from the page. Everybody can still see us, but we are going to be looking at this web page. 20 weird rules motorcycle riders need to follow.
And like that picture of Diddy with the dinosaur suit might not be a good idea.
Exactly. So we're just going to go down through this list. Let's see. Number 25 in Ohio, not okay to run out of gas.
Oh, that could be my daughter on the FZ that I got from Bill.
Now, they don't see any of these pictures, just FYI.
Oh, okay. So this is a picture of a guy trying to put gas in an FZ6 Yamaha.
Oh, yeah.
And it says...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you are in a congested district of Youngstown, Ohio, you are legally not allowed to run out of gas.
Oh. So their remedy for that is you have to pay.
Extra vigilant monitoring your gas meter. So that seems to be kind of
most people don't have one.
A goofy, but hey, some people run out of gas, and that's just the way it is. 20. We're gonna go. It'll be a countdown. I don't know if we'll get through it all, but because we might go on a bunny rabbit trail here. Iowa, New Hampshire, and Illinois, no rule regarding helmets. So that's
there isn't one in Indiana.
There's not one in Indiana either. So
I think maybe there's one in Indiana. If you're riding on a permit, you have to wear a helmet.
Oh yeah,
and I think there's a helmet law for people under a certain age. I'm not absolutely certain of that, but I think maybe it applies.
And if you're on a permit, you cannot ride 2-up, and you
That's
cannot.
Right. You can't ride at night.
You could ride as a passenger 2-up, but you can't drive a motorcycle with a passenger,
and you can't ride at night.
Okay.
And I don't think you can ride on the interstate.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one either.
23. In Virginia, it says it's not okay to ride in a costume or a disguise.
So this is the Diddy rule.
Diddy, you are out.
No dinosaur costume.
You cannot move to Virginia and put your panda hat on and do whatever there. Let's see. 22 Massachusetts says not allowed to have a gorilla as a passenger.
So that means if I ride to Massachusetts and Steve meets me there, he can't ride on the back of my bike.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to read this one. It says,
anybody riding,
believe it or not, in the state of Massachusetts, you are not allowed to have a dangerous wild animal as your passenger. So, of course, they had to over sensationalize the title there.
Yeah, that might be a pit bull that is untrained or something.
Right?
Who knows?
Dogs, cats are fine. It says anyone looking to double up with a gorilla should think twice. So yeah, it's got to be.
And I know people. I see a number of people riding with animals. You know, we saw them at Mid Ohio, quite a few.
Yeah, absolutely.
But frankly, I think it's really bad because the poor animal can't be responsible for what happens to the guy that's riding the bike, and they could get hurt just falling from the height of where they're sitting.
That's true.
And I think it's an extraordinarily dumb idea, but people do it.
Yeah, people do it. But some dogs, if you see them, they look like they love it. You know, just like surfing and stuff.
Yeah, and I saw a cat in a vest pack.
As long as you're not making them do it, I guess.
Well, but you kind of have to make them do it. They're not going to do it naturally.
But you're like, here, Freddie.
I know, yeah.
You know, jump up here, and he jumps up, and he's like, "Let's go."
I saw a guy with a cat in a front pack, like a baby.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really dumb.
It's a little whack.
You know, and it was a little cat. You know, like not even able to kill him to keep from doing it. If you tried to put killer in the knapsack, it might hurt you.
Okay, what is this one? This doesn't even. This is number 21. Pennsylvania required to stop every mile and send off.
Well, let's read it and see what it says.
Light or rocket signal.
Let's see what it says.
This sounds like a fun law to us. Who does not want to legally send off rocket signals?
Yeah, I don't think that's specific to a motorcycle, really. It doesn't even say.
Yeah, okay, let's just move on. That's a dumb one. That should be out of there.
Boy, this 20. Is a really good law right here.
Okay, you read this one.
Yeah, it's not okay to operate a motorcycle outside of your ability. That motorcycle that person is riding.
Yeah, they're on a little cafe racer.
Little custom 650 Yamaha. What is that? That's a 650 Yamaha.
It says Kawasaki on it. That's a 450.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it is, but it's a nicely done one. I must say.
Yeah,
it looks like somebody worked hard at that. Anyway, no kidding though. We thought there were quite a lot of videos of that guy riding his bike, no control. Yeah. Soon, none of this happened in West Virginia, unless they're looking at a set of handcuffs. So that is. They try to figure out
okay, found game whales from moving automobile or motorcycle. It's illegal to drive blindfolded now. And you know what's funny about that is the law went because some moron tried to pull this off. Maybe with the helmet on.
Well, you can actually see through the helmet at least a little bit.
It says it's okay. They all found the whale one. It's good.
Yeah, it says it's okay to hunt whale.
It's okay.
I'd like
if you got a harpoon on your motorcycle and you're going along the coast, just throw it out there, man.
I'm guessing they don't get that close to the shore, but maybe they do.
I don't think so. In Minnesota, all students in a motorcycle endorsement program must wear pants.
That's a good idea. And
Vlad would like that one.
Well, particular pants for Vlad.
Rolled up at the bottom.
I will disclose I will disclose just for the purpose of full truth and disclosure that I have ridden a motorcycle with no pants.
Hopefully with shorts on.
No. I've ridden a motorcycle with just tennis shoes on before.
Oh my. Okay.
It was a long time ago. It was a drunken 4th of July weekend. It was a Honda Dream.
Oh no.
And
gosh.
We took turns. We took turns riding through the I think it was Turkey Run. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was college stuff.
Okay.
But we were camping at Turkey Run and there were,
oh geez.
Intoxicants involved at a very deep level.
I could imagine.
But I will tell a story about that.
Okay.
It's one of the closest I've ever come to having what I would think might be a fatal accident, because I was like many people who are in their late teens, early 20s, when they're riding a motorcycle, you feel like nothing's going to happen to you.
Oh yeah.
And we were on the ride back, and it was July the 5th, I think, when we came back. Weather was a lot like this. It was 90 plus.
Hot, man.
Yep. And there was a caravan of people. The guy that owned the bike that I was riding was so unable to ride from his hangover that he said, well, you ride it back. And I said, yes.
My.
So I rode the bike back, and I was wearing shorts and tennis shoes and a t-shirt and a helmet. But on the way back, I put my feet up. It was on I-70 coming from the Terre Haute area. I put my feet up on the bars.
Oh my.
And it had a throttle stop that you could screw down like all the early Hondas.
Like on the inside of the bars or
yes,
on the outside?
I put it up. Yeah. I put my feet up on the inside of the bars, and I just kind of set back.
You were hooking underneath them?
No, I had my feet on top of them.
Oh my.
And I was going along and everything was going fine. I was able to move. No, I'm not doing it. I was able to move a little bit. I had what I considered some control, which I, of course, did not because I was just sitting on top of it. I didn't have a hold of it at all.
Yeah.
But I got to a point where there was an overpass road, and the shadow in the road revealed there was a road gator laying right in my path.
Uh-oh.
And I saw it just enough to get 1 foot down.
Oh my.
And I got 1 foot down and my hand up on the bar.
That could have been bad.
When I hit it. And
it's still probably.
It was, I think if I'd have been on a conventional bike, it might have done me in. But because it was a dream, because of that leading link deal, it reacted very violently to it, but it stayed straight.
True. Yeah.
And I survived that, but I had serious pucker factor after that. But I don't recommend
Everybody knows what a road gator is, right?
Yeah, a big chunk of semi-tire laying in the road that blew off.
It's a chunk of retread, where when a tire goes bad on any vehicle, but mainly tractor trailer.
Definitely do not want to hit one if you have a choice.
They're not good for you.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, they can tear stuff up. Okay, let's move on. Let's go down to let's see, number 18.
There we are.
Here we go. Not okay for motorcyclists to ride without their feet on the pedals.
Yeah,
nice one.
You see a lot of chopper guys doing this, where they sit back. And they're especially like outlaw bikers that are taking a long ride. They lean back on their backpack and they put their feet up on the bars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to say something really stupid about that. It's arguably less unsafe on a bike that's raked out than it is on a bike that's conventional.
Yeah.
Because those raked out bikes generally have very stable going forward motions because their rake and trail is very extreme. Yeah. So they don't deviate their path much. Yeah. It's still dangerous for sure, but they do it, and I'm sure that's why they made that like that because they didn't want anybody to get hurt.
I will say I've dragged my feet out, just to stretch them out after a long ride, like down at Deals Gap or whatever. We're on our way back and we're going down some straight road that's just boring, and after half an hour you're just like stretching your feet out.
I have a friend that rode from San Francisco back to Indiana in one day. And he was on the road the entire time. He got to Missouri, and he was on an FJ, FJ 1100, I think. And he decided he was so stoved up from riding conventionally that he rode side saddle.
Oh yeah,
from St. Louis to Indy.
Oh wow, yeah.
And he said it was like 4.5 hours at 90 miles an hour riding side saddle.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's really
I've ridden
crazy.
Side saddle, and it's not a big deal, but it's 4 hours, 90 mile an hour.
Yeah, for a long time at a high speed, that's really stupid.
Okay, in Maine, you cannot pop a wheelie. Number 17. Did I skip one? No, I didn't. Nope. Okay, we're getting down there.
Yeah, so if you can do it on that electric Harley, then I'd say go for it.
Yeah. Number 16 is in Minnesota. It is finable offense to have dirty tires. So that must be a snooty part of town, I would say. That's the first thing that comes to mind. They don't want little dirt clods all over their sidewalk or all over their nice.
If you got an ADV bike,
roads.
You don't want to prove that you've been off road with it.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. If you ride a motorcycle with dirty tires, you're considered a nuisance that affects the public peace, safety, and general welfare.
I think that's what they're always trying to achieve with motorcyclists. Yeah. Not everybody's like the guys that were in the booze fighters,
It's like Clayton coming back from the weekend of mountain climbing or whatever they call it, hill climbing with his dirty boots, and he tracks it all into the shop,
right?
Which is a dirty shop, but it's
wearing the vintage boots that I sold him that he's ruined completely.
That's true.
Yeah, yep. Nice.
All right, 15. We're getting there. 12 different U.S. states. Motorcycles are permitted to drive through red lights.
Indiana's one of those.
Now, that doesn't make any sense. I I'm going to guess that they're over sensationalizing that title. And Indiana has that law where if you're sitting at a red light and no one's around, I think it's like a 30-second deal. You can just go through because your bike does not trigger the lights.
Yeah, and I've done that on left turn lights.
Times.
I've done that on forward lights around the west side. It's pretty common.
Yeah. They're not blowing through the intersection. I mean, that's illegal for anybody to do.
Yeah.
All right, 14. Connecticut headlights must always be illuminated on the highway. That's kind of almost like been a normal thing for years now.
It's been standard since 1975, like the left side shifting. If you've got a headlight on your motorcycle, it's not going to go out by the switches you have. If your engine's running, the light's on.
Yeah, turn the key on, the light comes on. And a lot of the resto mods that I would put together, usually I just have that all tied in. I don't even put it on a switch.
Yeah, and for me, one of the things that I look for on a vintage bike is to make sure that it's old enough to have an off switch.
Yeah, true.
And I prefer them to that. And my recent acquisition, the GS BMW, it's a 93 and it has an off switch.
Oh, okay.
Which surprised me.
That is surprising. Yeah. So anyway, no one's went out and found any more of these. I don't think I haven't gotten down to the whale one though. So it'll be interesting.
No cursing. Well, that one.
Okay. No cursing while driving, people.
Yeah. That would never work for me.
No matter if you, Kim gets cut off all the time.
Yeah.
and
I have one.
I know what he's saying in his helmet.
Yeah. I say the same thing every time. It's not good.
Not good. Not good. Number 12, Alabama must have a lantern attached to if you are going to drive down a one-way street.
That must be an old law.
That's an old law.
Yeah.
In order to drive the wrong way down a one-way street and not be considered a lawbreaker in Alabama, you must have a lantern attached to the front of your vehicle. It isn't clear if for all you motorcyclists, you can simply be holding a lantern. That's just kind of dumb. But I will say a funny story about kind of a lantern. There was an evening that Keith Carlson and myself, I think I was on the Dragon bike and he was on some little, what was that little blue, like a BSA? Yeah, it was a BSA.
Yeah, it's a BSA C15.
We went out to Hendricks County, I think, to watch the Carney Cross out there.
He loved that bike.
Yeah. And it got dark. And so on the way back, he kept saying, hey, my headlight's not that great. I'm going to follow you on the way back, So we get out and he's following me and, I look and I see him behind me and we get on another road and I take off and he's following behind and I look back there and I just see this teeny little,
I think he was running on the parking lot. I do.
It looked like a little tiny lantern, And so I'm like, holy cow, I didn't know I blasted away that fast. And I turned around and he's right there.
Barely see him though.
The light was so dim. He was like right behind me. So anyway, if he had a lantern, I probably would have seen him better.
Yeah. I have this thing that I like to do that my wife absolutely hates as a passenger. When I'm going down the road sometimes where there's no ambient light, I turn the light off.
Oh yeah.
And keep going.
Yeah.
And man, she goes crazy when I do that.
Yep.
I don't recommend that either.
Okay. Florida has a $78 fine for hitting pedestrians. Sometimes that might be worth it.
It might. If I got to choose the pedestrian, we're good.
Let's choose which one there.
Don't hit the guy in a personal mobility vehicle would probably hurt.
Yeah. Whenever you joke around with somebody, you're supposed to get a lot of points for hitting somebody. Okay, we're going to do a 10, 9, 8 all the way down to 1. We got plenty of time. California, not okay for passenger to jump off at 65 miles an hour.
Ooh.
So another
First
one of those
I wonder how they'd know you were going 65.
If you are thinking about doing the jump and roll, you better make sure you are going slower than 65 miles an hour. So there might be some science behind this. Of course, we are talking about California, but that's another story. The absurdity of this law goes without saying. Once again, it is funny because some passengers out there must have thought it was a good idea to give jumping off a motorcycle to jump off a motorcycle at 65 miles an hour a try.
So you've seen some stunt riders get off the bike while it's still going down the road
accidentally
and put on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Hang onto the back of the seat and drag their feet. That might be related to that if it's a recent thing. Otherwise, maybe. I don't know.
So yeah, let's just not do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Arkansas. Is this where Dell's with Gary Larkin is down in Arkansas? Or
he probably wrote this law.
I think he wrote this law. Not okay to honk horn after 9 p.m. No, he wouldn't have written that. At any place where cold drinks or sandwiches are served.
Just cold drinks, I guess.
I've got to know about this one.
You can honk at the Waffle House.
Okay, I'm scrolling down. If you are ready to give that annoying car in front of you a good beeping, you better look first and make sure there's no one sipping a cold drink or eating. Oh, someone must have choked to death. Probably one person out of a billion people.
Or if they were in a White Castle drive-thru, they might have got gunned down.
Yeah.
For
Plus, you might want to check your watch and make sure it's after 9 p.m. One of the weirdest laws on the list. We're still having a bit of a chuckle about it, but there you have it. Residents of Arkansas can feel safe knowing they can drink a soda and eat a tasty sandwich after 9 without fear of being honked at.
Nice.
I hate being honked at when I'm eating a sandwich.
Yeah, I don't like to be honked at because
so.
Although sometimes
that honks me off.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt. Let's see here. Okay, we're going down the list. Tennessee, not okay. Here it is, guys. Okay, so 2 of you went out there and did your Google. You didn't know this off the top of your head, I guarantee you. Tennessee, not okay to hunt except for whales from a moving motorcycle. So
I wonder how many whales there are in Tennessee. I'm guessing not very many.
Just big catfish and rock bass. Well, as long as we can still hunt whales, though. How exactly is this one expected to accomplish hunting a whale while actually in Tennessee, but let alone on a motorcycle with baffles?
Yeah, it'd be like hunting a dinosaur in Tennessee.
Yeah, that one's
right. Not going to find
that. One's just most of these are just to get a chuckle, I guess. Number 7,
I think
Alabama.
The lawmakers that have something else to do.
Well, they probably were out of things to do because they already messed up everything else. They just
went home.
They needed to make up some funny laws.
Yeah.
Not okay to ride blindfolded. I think we discussed that earlier. I think. Number 6. Let's see what they have to say about this. The real funny part about this law is that it was made when some guy tried to ride a motorcycle blindfolded.
Yeah.
Well, it's never really going to go well unless you're on like the salt flats or something.
Even then.
Yeah.
I think
probably lose your equilibrium.
Yeah, I think you lose your ability to realize where you're at. Equilibrium. Yeah, that is a big word.
Canada, motorcycle riders who wear cultural headgear don't need helmets. Oh, interesting. I wish they'd had a picture of cultural headgear. So,
although if you were like,
what are you going to wear in Canada? Like those,
if you're like a Sikh maybe, and you have the towel on your head, or
okay,
it's not a towel, it's a ceremonial thing. But if you were wearing one of those, I would think without anything protecting it, it's going to unravel and wind up behind you.
Okay,
but I don't know.
What about an Indian wearing a big
feathers,
headdress?
Like yeah. I guess you can do that.
Or a Mountie County, or what do they call those horse police up in Canada?
Oh, the Royal Mounted Police.
Yeah, the Royal Mounted. Maybe you're wearing one of them helmets. Okay, riding side by side. So I've got a little story about this.
Any guesses where that
number 5? It almost
looks a lot like Deal's Gap.
It looks a little bit
but it isn't because there's curbs.
Yeah, and I see some weird boulder rocks that you don't really see on that road.
Somewhere in California.
You guys don't see it. Sorry. I need to get a streaming software that can show what we're looking at. Anyway, number 5, riding side by side. So if you've ever been part of a motorcycle tour group, that's kind of like the wrong term, but
if you're riding with more than 2 people,
yeah, you'll know how unenforced this law is. The guides like to tell you over and over again not to ride side by side, but do you listen? Well, most of us are taught to ride in the staggered, position, but unlike if you're our age, Chips rode side by side. That show,
cops.
Remember the cops?
Right.
So Keith and I tried to do that on the way back
it's hard to do.
from I don't know, somewhere south, and we rode up to Dryer, and it's like, let's do the side by side Chips thing and see how it goes. And it was a lot harder.
You got to pay attention.
It was a lot harder than you think.
This is a cool picture though that you can't see.
Yeah.
The guy on the Ducati in the front has been to a track day. You can tell by the way he's leaning on the motorcycle. The guy behind him hasn't. He's all tires and no lean.
All tires, no lean.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting down to the top 4 here. Daylight riding only. Nobody obeys.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know about that. If you are a motorcycle operator in Boise, Twin Falls, Idaho Falls, and or Lewiston, you are only allowed to ride your motorcycle during daylight hours.
Yeah, but it says it's only for instructional permits.
Yeah, well, that's like all over the place.
Yeah, that's anywhere.
Okay, that shouldn't have been top.
That
top
is
4.
definitely not obeyed right there.
3, a loud muffler nobody obeys. Well, of course not. They want to be heard. Now, I don't really go with the loud pipe thing as far as like the excuse of I need to be heard.
I don't think it really applies. I mean, most of the guys that are listening to a loud motorcycle are riding a motorcycle that isn't particularly fast to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a Hayabusa with a straight pipe, that's a different matter.
My thing is you just need to make sure if people aren't seeing you, you need to just be extra careful. If the stats show that keggers or cars don't see you very well, then you need to ride another 10% more defensively.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
yeah, I think everybody should do that.
And make sure you're seen. You know, put a yellow helmet on, but not everybody wants to do that because they want their helmet to match their bike, to match their whatever.
Yeah.
And but if I have loud pipes, I can just go vroom vroom.
Yeah.
But the people in front of you can't necessarily hear you that well.
No, it's
someone on the side of you could.
And if you're going fast, you don't hear it. The thing about this law that's
sure
a little
we'll get
bit
some
scary.
Opinions ringing in there.
The thing that's really scary. Matt Ring talking about the address. The thing about this law that everyone should be concerned about is something that's happening elsewhere in the country, notably California, where they're trying to make it a law that you can't modify a motorcycle or a car at all.
Yeah,
and if you do, it's against the law.
I think that's wrong. You know,
Well,
let's just get more freedom.
Yeah, if you're in the performance manufacturers business, there's a lot of concern about that, and they're lobbying against it. But it doesn't mean it won't happen. I mean, there was a guy in the 90s, I want to say, that was trying to outlaw any motorcycle over 500 cc's, period.
Yeah.
And that didn't go anywhere, but it was on the way. His name was John
ridiculous.
Danforth.
It all starts in Cali.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was talking to somebody today, and he was part of a BMW group back when he was in his early 20s. And he learned a couple things from the Beamer guys. And one of them was all gear all the time, because most of them pretty much do that.
A lot of them do.
A lot of the Beamer guys do that. And I'm not saying nobody else does, but
I'm not that guy.
That particular group does,
some of the gear all of the time.
Yeah, does that a lot. The other thing that he learned was to, if you're on like the louder bikes, is to wear earplugs.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people do.
When you are, so some of these BMW guys they're lifelong riders, and they put on hundreds of thousands of miles on their bikes over the years. And I think they found that there may be some statistics out there, but these guys were saying that if they had worn earplugs, that they wouldn't have lost their hearing as soon as they did. And these guys were all in their like 70s.
Yeah, it might be true. So Lisa Gilbreth just recently posted something on one of the BMW forums about, or on motorcycle forum about wearing particular kinds of ear protection.
Yeah.
And I agree that it should work. I mean, I use them. Some of them are inner ear things that you can use when you're shooting that are sensitive to loud noises.
Yeah.
So you can still carry on a normal conversation and they're fine. And those would probably be a great idea.
Actually, I want to say some more about the loud muffler thing. I will say this, that as someone who suffers from tinnitus and hyperacusis, when you're down at Motorcycles Meridian and you're going around the kind of the trek that they make, and you go down at the very south end where you go under the tunnels, and everybody's hitting the rev limiter and all that, you really can damage somebody's ears. I mean, it's like, I make sure I have earplugs when I go down there and do that, because it actually kind of ticks me off.
Oh, well, I can see that.
I had a guy doing it basically right in front of me with the pipe aimed into my face. And I pulled up next to him and I said, "Is that really necessary to do it in my face?"
And of course it is.
Of course it is.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, you know,
bang.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, number 2, we're almost there, guys. We're just going to go a little late because we can. That's all there is to it. Number 2,
you can't see this picture, but it's a Ducati Supermoto with a baby seat on the back of it.
I did not even see that earlier today. All passengers must be large.
Strong and mature. Well, they might be large and they might be mature, but they might not be strong.
This is a little over the top. You must be large enough to easily handle your motorcycle. You must be strong enough to easily lift and maneuver your motorcycle for it to be considered in your ability to drive. And that's kind of truthful there. That's common sense there. Yeah. And you must be mature enough to understand road laws and responsibility of driving. That's all common sense.
And don't put a little kid on the back, or even, God help you, in front of you. That's a bad idea. And if they can't reach the pegs, that's always been my rule. You can only ride on the motorcycle when you can reach the pegs.
It's a good idea.
If you can't reach the pegs, you can't ride on the bike.
Yeah, because your feet could dangle and go anywhere and
you can't keep your balance. You got nothing.
Get injured, lose your balance.
It's a bad idea.
Okay, let's see if anybody's saying anything out here.
Bill,
Arian.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, there's loud, and then there's like
stupid.
There's also like cool sounding, loud, or something that has some grit to it, because there's some loud bikes that just sound like absolute crud. You know what I mean?
Well, and like we see a lot of motorcycles where people want a certain kind of noise, and it makes the bike nearly impossible to ride.
That's true.
And we have to fix that. That's usually not a good plan.
Right. Okay. Drum roll. I think I have a drum roll here. No, I don't.
Yeah, you used to.
Nope. Oh, no. Where is it? There it is.
Oh,
that's not really a drum roll.
That's but
Anyway, okay, that was dumb. Number 1, can't carry anything that interferes with your ability to hold the handlebars. So, no beers. It says nobody obeys, but people obey.
Stupid how a dog.
Anyone that has a beloved pet, usually in breach of this law. We see motorcyclists riding around with their puppy in front of them all the time. No, you don't all the time. It's adorable, but it's unsafe. And people smoke a cigar, people drink. People the cup holder thing.
I don't grasp any of that. We had a guy in with a Hayabusa the other day that had a cup holder on it.
Oh yeah,
and it's like
that's kind of an oxymoron.
Now this law obviously is not interpreted the same way in other countries. We've had shows about that, what they carry on bikes.
That's true. When I was in the Dominican, I saw the most I saw in the Dominican. The time I was there was 5 on one bike, which is still a lot. But I saw a lot of them carrying their propane tanks, big propane tanks, to go fill them up, take them back home so they can do their cooking and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I saw things like cattle strapped across the back with their feet tied, things like that.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Africa. I don't think, I didn't see anything like that.
That was the craziest thing I saw.
You got any tip for the day?
I do. I have a tip for the day. So on Sunday, I had a great time. I went to the state fair with my son and my granddaughter. I rode my motorcycle up there. If you were out on your motorcycle on Sunday, you know that at about 4:00 it was 95 degrees out. So this is my
your helmet.
Right. This is my go-to Valentino Rossi helmet. I bought 2 of them, and I like them for several reasons, mostly because it's an AGV that has good features, and it was a good price. But I bought Valentino Rossi replicas because I like Valentino Rossi. Now that he's going to retire, I'm sure I should probably stop using this. It's probably worth a fortune now.
I have a shirt you might want to buy.
A Rossi shirt? Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe. Yeah. But I parked my motorcycle, came in the house, set it down just like that on the shelf that I keep my motorcycle helmets on.
Oh, okay.
And I went in the house and did my stuff. And when I came back out, I pulled the helmet off and went to put it on my head. And it was still damp on the inside. And it smelled like somebody's old socks. So don't do that.
Old socks.
My old socks, right. So what you need to do if you're parking your bike after riding in 95-degree heat for a couple hours, put it this way at least.
So it can kind of air out.
Yeah, so the air can go through it with the visor open and it goes up rather than stays in the helmet. I took this.
You could pull all that out and wash it and stuff.
You can. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you can do it. Yeah. I took the D-ring and hung it on the front of the big fan at the shop and turned the fan on.
That's a good idea.
And it got dry.
Hopefully you didn't blow it all over my area.
I did a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Anyway, do that. Don't ride in a stinky helmet.
All right. Hey, thanks for hanging in there a little extra long today. Hopefully that was entertaining enough for you. For lack of better content and no special guest.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys on the weekend. And, I may or may not go to Motorcycle on Meridian, but I'll definitely be in Carmel all day.
It might be cooler, at least at night, later.
Yeah, maybe.
Later at night. All right, see y'all later. Take care.